The Courtney Show.
He got here late and he left early. That's our own Tim Convey, everyone.
Yay.
But in studio, we knew we'd be fine because she likes to talk. You may have seen her on TikTok. She is born and raised right here, well, Granite City. You moved to the Mo side many years ago. Kelly Manno.
Hey, I'm so happy to be here.
It's great to have you. I've never had you on. Well, yes, I have. When you the cow thing.
Oh yeah,
I had you on then.
You know, I'm normally not up this early, so this is new for me.
How did you do morning radio? Because you famously cannot sleep at night.
Oh, I never got used to it. Like, people would say, oh, you just get used to it. No, never got used to it. It was miserable, and I hated my life every day. Like, it was the best job, but God, 4 a.m. my alarm would go off.
Well, we talked about you early this morning because we both spent some time. We did our time with Stephen DC.
Yes,
That's how
we
we
did.
both started in radio. Now you're a big TikTok star, and we'll get to the reason you're here. But what years were you with Stephen DC, and what was your title?
So I came shortly after you. I started as intern Kelly, but then I started dating the producer and moved up the corporate ladder that way. And so then I became the assistant producer of the show. But yeah, I stayed an assistant producer, and yeah, working for Stephen DC. I say it's like some weird fraternity that we've all been through, and like only us know what that was like.
Yeah, give me some names of some of the stragglers that were in the studio back then. Like the people that didn't get paid but came in every day. Somehow they convinced them to work for free.
Oh yeah.
Besides the Mad Hoosier, because he was a part of the show.
Like Vanilla Mike was like the longest running, I think, unpaid intern. The No Limit Honky, who was our stunt guy that came after Addison.
Yeah.
But just, I mean, so many people. And then when you did finally get hired to get paid, I was like, are you joking? This is what I make? Because I could.
Oh, it was crazy.
My first full-time job in radio paid me $14,000 a year,
Mine
and
was
it was
16.
a full-time job. And I was
I
like,
got 16 my first job.
16
too.
was mine.
and I was like 20 years old, and I was like, I am getting out of this business.
And what year was this?
Probably like 99, 2000 to like 2003 ish. Somewhere. I was there about 4 years.
Yeah.
I came towards the end of some of the crazy stuff, but I grew up listening to them. That's why, like, I would drive in the mornings to high school, like, so miserable, hating mornings, and I would hear them on the air, and I would tell my mom, I'm like, I'm going to work for these guys one day because they wake up and do fart jokes and prank phone calls, and that's all I want to do with my life.
When prank phone calls were real.
Yeah.
When they were real.
Yes.
Oh, don't even get me started.
Don't even
And
get
when
us
fart
started.
jokes used to be real.
Right?
We can't do as many fart jokes on the show anymore because the Conveys have ruined fart humor for us.
Why? Farting is always funny.
They really hate it.
They really don't
hits
like it.
I think they got in trouble or something as...
Did they have a not fart-friendly house, maybe?
I
Must have been.
Something happened.
Yeah.
Because both of them had it.
We had like fart contests in the Manno house. It was like...
I have a whole soundboard set up with just fart noises for the one day I punished Chris for something.
Oh, yeah.
And it was as if I was killing him.
Well, yeah, I live with a guy that finds, he follows fartfluencers on TikTok.
Oh my God, we talked about this. Well, my kids taught me this really fun game called Guess My Fart. And what happens is if you're getting ready to fart, you say out loud to the people in the room, guess my fart, and they have to make a noise, and then you fart, and when it matches up, it is hilarious.
Yes, it's a win.
So now every time you have to fart, whoever you're with, say, guess my fart.
All right, so let's talk about your next career.
Yeah.
TikTok star.
Yeah. Oops. Didn't mean to do that. Started during COVID, and, it just took off. I had like 1 million followers within like 6 months.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, people were really bored. So
But no, COVID was a good time to try stuff. We started our show during COVID.
Yeah.
It began in April of 2020.
This never would have been allowed.
No,
Had
we
it
didn't
not
know.
been a pandemic.
We had never all worked together, so we understand. We were just
you
throwing
guys were
darts.
brand new during the
Yes.
pandemic. God. It was just a crazy time, and the news was scary, and everything was scary, and I've never taken anything in my whole entire life seriously. So while I was concerned in the beginning, yes, I carried on with what was going on in my house, which was making dumb videos, and I just think it was a relief for people that were so scared and stressed out that somebody was being funny about it, and it just exploded, and it, yeah.
And now you're doing a comedy tour.
I'm doing a stand-up comedy tour, and It's one of those things that I always kind of knew I could do. I've always loved public speaking, and I've always loved making people laugh. And I thought if I ever really tried that, I bet I could do it.
And worked on it. And
yes.
Yeah.
But it's a very lonely lifestyle. You're on the road all the time, and I've got 3 kids. And so I always kind of pushed that away. Anytime somebody brought up stand-up, I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. And then this group came together online, 4 of us on TikTok. We were just going to do a get-together last year in Nashville, and one of the guys like, we should try stand-up. And I'm like, are you insane? Why would we do stand-up? We're not stand-up comedians. But, we all sat and started because in media, you get to edit stuff, and being on stage is completely raw and naked and terrifying. And
just tell everybody, hey, you guys turn around for a second.
Yeah, just turn
Forget
around.
I just said that. I want to do it again.
3, 2, 1.
Yes. Yes. And so surprisingly, the thing that I think has been successful about our tour is that we've been honest from the beginning. Like, all of our audience knows that we don't do this for a living, and that we're kind of learning as we go. And
they're kind of there to see.
They're there to see us
go off the rails a little bit too.
They almost expect it to. Like, if you follow me on social media, my whole life is a train wreck. So you should expect nothing else when you come to the show. But it's so much fun.
And you're going to be at the Factory.
Factory.
Wait, I have all the the
Finally,
right
I'm doing a hometown show. So we just started this last year. We've done Nashville, New Orleans, Atlanta, Cleveland, and we're doing Vegas next. And I said, we have to do a St. Louis show. I said, I've lived here my whole life. Everyone I know and love is here. Everyone. And so I know I'll have a lot of support from the community. And, I work in rescue and I got 3 kids in school. And I'm always volunteering for stuff. I'm like, we're going to have a big crowd. So we booked the Factory. And we are on day, I think, 4 of ticket sales. And we've already sold over 1,000 tickets.
That's so great.
That's awesome. How nervous were you when you signed that?
I would be so.
I thought
I have no belief ever in myself.
I'd be like 2 people will be there.
Yes.
I have the worst imposter syndrome, and I was the one that fought for the Factory with my fellow content creators because they were looking at some the downtown comedy clubs and stuff like that, and I said I really think the Factory is where you guys want to be. It's like suburban paradise, and that's our core audience is parents and middle-aged kids. And I'm like, the Factory is beautiful. Let's give it a shot. And I remember thinking, if we can get to 500 tickets, then I won't feel like a total loser. That'll be at least
500's a lot.
That'll be at least enough people that it kind of looks full, because they weren't going to open the balcony and all that.
Yeah, that would fill that lower area. It'd be fun.
I just thought if sometime in the next few weeks we can hit 500 tickets, I'll be able to breathe. And then the night before tickets went on sale, I thought I was going to throw up.
I know.
I'm sure I drugged myself to sleep that night because.
Oh man.
Yeah.
But over 1,000 tickets already sold. That's so thrilling.
And I think once we hit 1,200 is when they open up everything.
That's awesome.
The back. And I've got all this media scheduled this week. So if you want tickets, now is the time.
Yeah.
If you follow me on social media, you probably follow my fellow content creators because we do a lot of the same stuff. The Dad Bod veteran, Nick Harrison, and the Real Slim Sherry. It's the 4 of us. We're all kind of Gen Xers. Most of our content is about being Gen X, growing up Gen X, but we do everything up on stage.
Are you the youngest Gen Xer?
No, you would think that
in your group? You're
not? No, actually, Nick is the youngest, and he's got the big gray beard.
Really?
I said, yes. I said, if you dyed your beard, everybody would know you were the youngest, but...
Yeah, because you're right on the... You're
1978, so I made it by 2 years. Some of the old crotchety Gen Xers get on me sometimes. I'm not Gen X enough for them.
Yeah, well...
And I'm like, that is the most Gen X thing ever.
It really is. We're a very proud group of our generation.
Yes, and apparently, I was not tough enough, maybe, because anytime I do something where I go see a current musician, I go to the Taylor Swift concert or Post Malone, people are like, you're not a real Gen Xer.
Well, you can like new music.
Tell them that.
Yeah, well,
the old crusty ones.
I'm an older Gen X.
I know you have to defend it. So I was 76. So I'm just look, I graduated high school in the 90s. By definition, I'm Gen X.
Now, let me tell you, I graduated grade school, high school, college, all in the 80s.
Really? I thought we were closer to the same age.
No, I'm much older.
Damn, girl, you
all
look
right,
good.
let's see if you can really prove how Gen X you are. Can you catch these 5 quarters?
Oh, God.
Can you do...
I think so.
Okay.
Can I stand up?
You can stand up.
Okay, I got to jump down 9 feet.
Fall off of their giant
stool. I will accept you into the Crabby Gen X Club if you can catch
I'm done.
Well, here, move to the side a little so you don't hit your arm when you slam it back.
Yeah.
Don't do it there. Do it
Aim
there.
at the wall.
Okay.
I have baby T-Rex arms.
You really do have
Maybe
tiny.
those might be helpful.
If you can catch these quarters like the... She caught all of them.
No, I heard one. But that was good, though.
Oh, I heard all of them, but
One hit the ground.
she
But
got
that's good.
4. That's better than I did earlier.
Yeah.
You're
Excellent
also
work.
younger.
I can move my elbow faster.
You are
You
actually...
don't have as much tendonitis.
I accept you now.
Yes, thank you.
You're so welcome.
Yeah.
How many kids do you have?
I think 3.
And how old's the oldest?
20. My son Rocky is 20. I had him when I was working for Stephen DC. Like I remember calling from the hospital, and now he's 20 years old. So
What was the worst thing that they made you do on Stephen DC? Because I have a few.
God, where do I start? We should write a book.
Man, I had to go out in public for the Wheel of Whoopee.
The Wheel of Whoopee. They had me go out and line up guys with their butts facing the street, and people got to pick the dates based on the butt of the guy.
Yep.
It was like the block of buns or something, and I had to host it.
Oh, yeah.
And so I had to stand out there until they all got, bid on by these girls. And when I was stuck out there with like the last 3 guys, it was so awkward because I'm like, I'm
it's gross,
sorry.
too.
Bad butts.
I'm sorry nobody wants your butt.
There's pimples on butts.
Yeah, they would hold up a number and have their butts facing, and then ladies would call in and say which guy they wanted to date based on their butt, and then they all blind date met their dates at our Valentine's Day party.
It's
I'm sure
awful.
a lot of marriages came out of that one.
0, absolutely 0.
We used to do Naked Fantasy Friday where somebody would want to drive a Lamborghini.
Yeah.
But in order for us to set it up for them, they had to come ask us in studio completely naked.
Oh my God.
I really didn't want to see any of it.
No, never.
It was terrible.
Forced nudity is never.
It was awful.
Satisfying.
Yeah, and Stephen DC, they did get me sued by Dr. Phil, so that was
Oh, really?
that was a fun one. That's a whole other kind of side story.
He was a real crab.
Yeah, he's an a-hole, and it turns out if you go on his show and fake who you are and give him a fake story and make him look real dumb on TV, you're
gonna
going to
sue
get
you?
served with papers from Paramount Pictures.
Oh, my God.
wow.
I don't think I even knew about that.
Oh, I didn't hear
A lot
about
of
that.
lawsuits were flying around.
They were. And I had to go to, Stephen DC's boss's boss because they're like, explain to us what you've done here. And I said, well, I wrote the Dr. Phil show and I told him I was in this love triangle with this guy, and they believed it and they let me come on the show, and then it aired and Dr. Phil looked real stupid because all the audience knew, oh my God, that's Kelly and that's honky and this is all fake. And there were like
They got pranked.
yeah, there were headlines in the newspaper like 20-year-old suckers Dr. Phil. And it was real funny until at the radio station they're like, Kelly Manno, come to the front office. And I thought, oh, maybe I want a t-shirt or something. And I go down there and they served me pictures for Paramount Pictures. So then I had to go to the boss's boss and say, hey, guess what I did?
Yeah, but what
Guess
kind of
who got
lawsuit would they have? He was pranked.
Well, he was
Yeah.
trying to sue at the time MS Communications
Sure.
because they're the ones that have the money, right?
Yeah.
But then it turned out they could not prove that the radio station set me up to it. They were saying I did it all on my own accord, and since they couldn't connect the two, the only thing they could do is sue a 20-year-old girl. So they dropped the lawsuit under the guise that I signed all this paperwork saying that I would never talk about it again. So if you
And you've held,
Everybody,
you've held
don't
firm
say
to that.
anything.
So if I figure at this point, if Dr. Phil sues me again, that's content.
It's good for you.
That's
that's true,
content.
yeah.
That
Yeah.
would be the greatest thing that happened to me
Isn't
if
it
Dr. Phil
crazy?
sues me.
Oh, you could have been the next Cash Me Outside girl.
Catch me outside. How about that?
I mean, she's doing well.
She is doing really well, and she is.
All for being a complete brat.
Oh my God!
The worst.
And she's in a feud right now with Travis Barker's daughter, Alabama Barker, and they're like these two little hood rats, like going back and forth. And I'm like, I know way too much about
Yes.
this for being a 46-year-old woman in the Midwest. I should not know the beef between Bad Baby, because that's her name now, is Bad
Yeah.
Baby.
You should know the
beef.
beef. You've got children.
I do.
And you want to know what they're talking about. They're
Are they
maybe
talking about bad
I don't
baby,
know.
though?
Bad.
Oh my God, I'll be singing the song, I got flex on flex on flex. And my kids are like, what are you doing?
Well, listen, I want to hit your show one more time. Where do people go to get tickets? And can we also say that this GenX Takeover comedy tour is starting time of 5 p.m.
You bet your butt it is.
Nice job. That's why you're selling all those tickets.
Right? Because it was at 7 p.m. I said, let's bump it up to 5 p.m.
5 p.m.
I know
it
our
is
audience.
Incredible.
I know our audience.
Well, yeah, if you're talking to Gen X.
Yeah. So
People can hit Costco and then go to the show.
Yeah, exactly. So you go to GenXTakeover.com. The tickets are through Ticketmaster. We even have scalpers now, which makes me feel super cool. If you go on the other sites, there's like marked up tickets, but don't do that. There's still tickets for sale right on Ticketmaster. Go to GenXTakeover.com, but get them fast because they are going quicker than I ever could have imagined.
Yeah, Kelly Manno hanging out with us. She's going to chill for a little while longer and hear the train wreck that is First 5 Notes. It's the Courtney Show on the Arch.